Palestine, multiple civilians were killed while others were wounded as a result of a new bombardment perpetrated against a hospital in Gaza. Total death toll surpasses 21,000. In Argentina, social and union organizations protest in Buenos Aires in rejection of the liberal emergency decree signed by the President Javier Milei. In Sudan, health authorities reported an outbreak of cholera due to lack of medical supplies in the port city of Sudan. Welcome to From the South. I am Alejandra Garcia from teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Stay with us. In Palestine, several civilians were reported killed while others were wounded as a result of a new bombardment perpetrated against a hospital in Gaza. The bombing hit the Al-Amal hospital belonging to the Palestinian Red Crescent humanitarian organization located in the city of Khan Yunis, south of the Gaza Strip. According to local media reports, the number of Palestinians killed in this attack is between 18 and 20 people. However, the authorities specified that the exact number of dead is still unknown. The Gaza Health Ministry reported on Wednesday that the number of Palestinians killed since October 7th, after the beginning of the bombardment of the occupied territory, exceeded 21,000 people. In the meantime, news agencies report a lack of information due to communications and internet outages in some areas. This is the seventh time that the occupation forces have cut off communications and internet from the Gaza Strip since the beginning of the aggression by disconnecting international lines. The interruption of communications and internet is accompanied by an escalation in the massacres committed by the occupation forces against Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip, in addition to the disruption of the efforts to rescue and treat citizens. In the midst of the Israeli blockade in Gaza, Egyptian citizens denounced illegal detentions at the Rafah border crossing. In view of the intensification of the attacks of the Israeli occupation forces in the Gaza Strip, Egyptian citizens leave again to their country. These citizens denounced that despite carrying their Egyptian passports and identity cards, they remain trapped at the Rafah border crossing because they are not allowed to cross to their country. Some of these people have been sleeping on chairs outside the crossing terminal, waiting for the chance to return to their homeland. The Rafah crossing has been the coastal enclave's only portal to the outside world since the Israeli attacks began on October 7th.
We have been sleeping here on the chairs for 25 days. There is no solution for us. Every day and every week there are lists of travelers who are allowed to cross. But we are surprised that they are not Egyptians, but Palestinians with passports. Why? We are originally Egyptians and we have Egyptian passports. We were born in Egypt. Why are we being treated this way? We want to go back to our country to take care of our work and return to our homeland.
On the first day of the war, I rescued the children from under the rubble. What are we waiting for? We will wait until we are martyrs to have our names on the list of crosses? Few need mercy, for God's sake. It is not because of me. It is because of the children who lost their future. I don't need anything else. I need someone to intervene, anyone to intervene. The Emirates Ministry of Foreign Affairs, for God's sake. I still have valid residence. My children and I lived there for more than 12 years.
In Palestine, Prime Minister Mohammad Shatayyeh, during a cabinet meeting in Ramallah, said that Israel is doomed to exist as a criminal state that violates the rights of the Palestinian people.
Israel today is condemned before the world as a criminal and lawless state that kills with the intent to kill, starving people, making them thirsty until they die and displacing them to death. Israel today is at the rock bottom, and those who flock to support it in the early events have today become ashamed of it and have disavowed their support.
In this context, the Palestinian Prime Minister also called on the United Nations to deliver humanitarian aid to the population and thanked the Arab countries for their efforts in seeking a solution to the conflict, especially Egypt.
I call on the United Nations to work to deliver aid from all the crossings leading to the Gaza Strip, which are 5 crossings, and I welcome the decision of the UN Secretary General to appoint Ms. Sigrid Kaag as a special coordinator for international aid to the Gaza Strip. We welcome all Arab and international efforts to stop the aggression against our people and the amended Egyptian initiative. Egypt is certainly interested in the unity of Palestinian representation and that any regional or international agreement passes only through Palestinian legitimacy, represented in the Palestine Liberation Organization.
Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates and more. All the stories coming up, stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. In Argentina, social and union organizations began marches on Wednesday to the courthouse in Buenos Aires in rejection of the emergency mega decree signed by the new president Javier Milei. The mobilization began around 12 noon in the vicinity of the courts and then settled in the Plaza Lavalle. The only official activity was the reading of a document to ratify the rejection to the measures announced by the president, which imply a strong adjustment to the pocket and reach the workers. So far, it is known that the police arrested at least 6 people after the mobilization called by the General Confederation of Labor, in which some incidents were registered. The concentration was called by Argentina's Central Workers' Union with the purpose of accompanying the judicial feeling of the union that seeks to stop the scope of the decree signed by President Javier Milei. Russia's Central Election Commission on Wednesday accepted the candidacy of Nikolai Kharitonov, a representative of the Russian Communist Party, for next year's presidential election. Nikolai Kharitonov is a Russian politician from the Novosibirsk region. He was a leading member of the Agrarian Party of Russia and a deputy in the Russian parliament. In 2004, he also ran for the presidency and finished second with 13.7% of the total votes. The Communist Party of Russia is the second largest party in parliament, behind United Russia, which is the largest party in the federation and holds 72.22% of the 450 seats in the State Duma as of 2022, having formed the majority in the chamber since 2007. Russian presidential election will be held in March 2024. The government of China demanded that the United States stop sending arms to Taiwan and intervene in the election in that region. Xian Binghua, the Chinese spokesman for the State Council of Taiwan Affairs Office, expressed Beijing's condemnation of Washington's wrongdoing and strongly opposed the negative content related to Taiwan in the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2024, which was signed into law. The official reminded the United States that the Taiwan issue is a purely internal affair of China, and therefore does not admit outside interference. In this regard, Chen Binghua demanded that Washington refrain from supplying weapons to Taiwan, as such actions only set the stage for a confrontation. The Chinese government hopes to promote comprehensive cooperation through the implementation of the Belt and Road project everywhere on the occasion of the 10th anniversary of the initiative. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning said that the 10th anniversary will be a new opportunity for promoting the cooperation and quality of the Belt and Road, while highlighting the progress of the project during the last decade through multilateral integration. She also noted that the Third Belt and Road Forum held in October 2023 marked a good start to the development of high quality and cooperation. In the United States, the Michigan Supreme Court rejected a petition seeking to prevent former President Donald Trump from running in the next year's presidential elections in 2024. The Michigan declaratory judgment explained that the state law does not give election officials maneuvers to control the legitimacy of candidates for the presidential primary. The magistrate indicated that the case raised a political question that should not be decided in court and called it irrelevant to the 2024 election. The case filed by the Colorado Supreme Court alleged that Trump allegedly supported an insurrection during an assault of the Capitol on January 6, 2021, an act that prohibits an official from holding any public office. In the United States, the National Weather Service issued a snow alert for the Plains region and the Midwest. Weather authorities reported the possibility of a general interruption of flights at airports in the region and advised delayed departures on highways as 2 days' snowfall accumulations would exceed 30 centimeters in some areas, according to reports. The ice storm warning will be in effect through Tuesday night in parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota. The forecast estimates that up to 6 inches of snow could fall in South Dakota, Nebraska, and Wyoming. Meanwhile, the North and South Dakota Departments of Transportation closed several lanes of major highways to prevent traffic accidents. In Thailand, officials said on Wednesday that flooding in southern has killed at least 6 people and displaced thousands. The official report added that flooding started on December 22nd and affected more than 70,000 households in the province of Satun, Songkhla, and Narathiwat. In this regard, the deputy governor of the province, Prisha Nualnoy, highlighted that among the dead were an 89-year-old woman, a child under the age of 3, and 1 person was still missing in Narathiwat. On the other hand, the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation said that the weather level began to recede on Wednesday and the railways were running again in the direction of the Malaysian border. It should be noted that due to the current ecological crisis in 2011, the floods killed hundreds of people and damaged millions of homes across the country. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience, you can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with teleSUR. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. In Sudan, health authorities reported an outbreak of cholera due to lack of medical supplies in the port city of Sudan. The Director General of the Health Sector of the Red Sea Province, Amla Abdullah, said that so far there are about 2,237 cases of cholera in the area. Abdullah warned that there is a shortage of medicines, which makes it difficult to provide treatment to people with various diseases. The authorities also called on international organizations to intercede to improve the situation in the country, because 70% of the health system is out of service due to the wars and the destruction of medical centers.
Currently, 70% of the health system in Sudan is out of service as a result of wars and as a result of the destruction of healthcare facilities. We are facing a great task and a great challenge in providing service to all of Sudan. Now, all of Sudan is in Port Sudan. And this is a great challenge. The service delivery times are limited and not suitable for this number of displaced people. There is a shortage in the supply of medicines. We suffer greatly in providing treatment for people with all disease and with cases of severe diarrhea. There are many challenges. We are doing what we can, and we hope that international organizations will help us more so that we can tackle these infections and can control them.
The police of the Democratic Republic of the Congo dispersed on Wednesday a demonstration that denounced irregularities in the electoral process and demanded its annulment. The demonstration was called by civil society organizations, citizen movements, and candidates to the presidential election, which was forbidden by the government authorities. Locals gathered near the People's Palace, the seat of parliament, to march to the Independent National Electoral Commission, an act that riot police prevented with repression. On the other hand, the Deputy Prime Minister Peter Kasadi declared on Tuesday that the police will react to any protest. The opponents denounced serious irregularities during the presidential election and also reject the extension of the voting, which they consider to be a deliberate violation of Article 52 of the electoral law. Christmas in Syria is not a day of celebration only for the Christian community. It is a day of joy for all the members of the diversified Syrian society, which, despite the hardships of war and the blockade, celebrate the occasion more united than ever. From Damascus, Hisham, one knows, with a Christmas story.
The family of Ibrahim Kasucha, a native of the central province of Homs, is celebrating Christmas in the coastal city of Latakia, where, like hundreds of Syrian Christian families, its members are living as internally displaced people because of the terrorism that has been ravaging their country for more than 12 years. Although overwhelmed by this harsh reality, they refuse to be deprived of living the joy of Jesus Christ's birth, with the full of hope of one day to return to their places of origin to celebrate the event.
It is true that we are displaced, but we always try to enjoy this season of festivities and create a Christmas atmosphere for our children, because the birthday of our Lord, the Messiah, is the date of the propagation of peace throughout the world. It is the celebration of kindness, and therefore we try to continue to be kind, by offering love and peace from the depth of our hearts, in spite of all the difficult conditions that we are going through.
Christmas is a festivity for love. It is the celebration of the birth of our Lord, the Messiah, the messenger of love and peace, and it is a reason for joy and worship, where besides praying, we visit our relatives, friends, and neighbors to exchange greetings. And we implore God on this day that the next festivities be full of goodness and peace in our country, and that conditions be better than they are now.
The Syrian provinces have celebrated Christmas again in their places of worship, which in several parts of Syria have been among the main targets of terrorist attacks. Places where they value very highly that thanks to the sacrifice made by the Syrian Arab troops, they can now practice in peace and security the rituals of the occasion and implored God to return their country to the way it was before 2011, the day of the outbreak of the terrorist war against them.
I would like to extend my greetings on this day to the whole world and to my brothers in Syria and Gaza, and God willing, we will say goodbye to this year and welcome a more prosperous new one. Because despite of the difficulties we are going through, especially the economic crisis, we celebrate Christmas and thank God that we have regained security and peace.
This year, we have unfortunately limited the Christmas celebrations to masses and prayers in solidarity with our brothers in Gaza, victims of the brutal Israeli aggression, and in recognition of the sacrifices made by the martyrs of our national army, that thanks to them, we can now celebrate Christmas, the birth of the messenger of love and peace, the peace that on this occasion we implore God to reign in our land and across the world.
Terrorism alien to the ancient civilized culture of the Syrian people couldn't, together with its Western sponsors, destroy Syrian society and sow discord among the members of its different religious sects, a harmony that is expressed in its most beautiful forms in the fraternal exchange of greeting between Syrian Christians and Muslims during this season of December celebrations.
We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net and join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram and TikTok. For Telesur English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.